Hello and welcome to episode 305 of the 77 Club. Harry, we are back for the 2025-2026 season. We're all looking forward to it. We've signed loads of players. We're ready to go. Not quite, but tell us the socials, just for those who can't quite remember from back in May.
The Wolves 77 Club on Facebook. Yeah, I forgot. Instagram, we're on X. We don't update them anymore, but if you just want to look at what we used to post, have a look and follow us and subscribe on here.
Evergreen.
Subscribe on here and subscribe on YouTube. Cheers.
Lovely stuff. Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello.
And Jack Williams.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. I've just got a few texts to send.
He's just doing his producer duties in the background there. Well, look, we'll start with some pretty somber news, Harry. Obviously, the tragic news back in July, the death of Diogo Jota alongside his brother Andre Silva in a car crash in northern Spain. Just horrible news. No one could really believe it when it started to filter through. How did you feel when you heard?
Yeah, it was a shock, I think, like everyone else. It was early morning, wasn't it, when it got announced? And I can't remember which page picked it up first, but then you think, oh, that ain't true. But then when obviously all the big outlets start reporting it, it was utter shock, yeah. And then obviously everyone starts reminiscing. I think for the first 2 days, it was just like disbelief, to be honest. Especially a player in his prime like that and just won the league, just won the Nations League with Portugal. I know we've had footballers' deaths in the past, the Cardiff striker flying over on the plane, but I can't think of someone in their mega like prime, like late 20s, height of their career, and obviously someone very close to our fan base and obviously the Liverpool fan base, and it affected the whole football world and the whole world really. It was a massive story, and especially his brother being in the car, it was just tragic. But I thought the tributes were incredible from Liverpool and Wolves and other clubs, and I'm still in disbelief. But he's just going to live long in the memory for Wolves, isn't he? Like the memories we had watching him. He played in our best era, particularly in the modern era. And it's just such a shame as well, because obviously in his personal life, just getting married and having 3 young kids. Like I'm a dad myself. I can't imagine that. Like, you know, young kids like that. It's just horrendous. The more you think about it, the worse it gets. But the tributes have been amazing, and obviously he'll live long in the memories. Good tribute against Celta Vigo. There'll be a massive one against City coming up the weekend, and it'll be on the biggest stage because the world will be watching. And yeah, rest in peace to him and Andre. It's terrible.
Jack, I'll come to you. I will rewatch the video that we did when he left and went to Liverpool and what we were all saying about him and the good times and everything along there. But I think you said pretty much every time you mentioned him, probably since he moved to Liverpool, you've always said that he was your favourite player. How did you feel when you heard about it?
I mean, yeah, he was definitely my favourite player of that sort of the early Fosun Nuno era by a long way. The thing that always sticks out is just how good of a finisher he was. We don't get many out-and-out natural finishers at Wolves, and he was one that just stuck in the mind, really. And you think back to some of the incredible moments we had together. Obviously, the one that jumps out is that goal in the FA Cup against Man United straight away. But like, I just adored him. I just loved everything that he was about, really. His little, centre of gravity, his pace, and his great finishing ability, and just really one of those players who will go down. And I know he went to Liverpool, and fair play to him because he went to Liverpool and he's done well. We've seen lots of players leave Wolves who haven't gone on to probably achieve what they thought they would when they left, but he's probably the exception because he's gone on to win league titles. But just absolutely genuinely gutted. Like, strangely enough, it's one of those things where I probably remember where I was when I heard that news, because I was walking around a supermarket in Belgium, and then I just saw a notification on my phone, and I was like, bloody hell, Diogo Jota's dead. And then your phone just starts blowing up from all the WhatsApp groups you're in and everything. And I was just in a state of shock, really. And I wasn't really with anybody who would know, who would feel the same way or know that much about football to really share the news in. But I was just stood there in disbelief for a few seconds, because it's just one of those such horrific stories that's really has, I think it's affected obviously Wolves, Liverpool fans, but Portuguese people probably the most, but has touched everyone across football, really. It's just a really, really sad turn of events. But
Dan, what are the standout moments? I mean, Harry's mentioned the goal against Man United, obviously, and I think it probably ticks the box of the finishing points that Jack's made there. But for you, are there any other standout moments?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I think that era years where we got to travel around Europe doing things that I, as a kid, never even dreamt would have been possible. And we got to do that because of his contributions. The 4-3 Leicester at home where he got the hat-trick, I mean, that stands out. But everything the other lads said, it's just so horribly tragic. And I know we're quite late because we take a break in the summer, but horrible. It's not just, it's hard to put into words, isn't it, really? Because you don't expect it of a current footballer still, top of their game, winning league trophies, and just horribly sad.
Yeah, and Nations League, he'd lifted with Portugal that same month as well, and married his long-term partner. A huge portrait is being painted on the wall facing the Leaping Wolf pub on Waterloo Road near Molineux, and the graffiti artist Joe Miles is behind the creation. He said, as a Wolves fan, he meant a lot to us, so I thought it'd be nice to have a long-lasting memorial. A fundraiser has helped pay for the artwork, which is due to be finished on Friday, so 2 days' time. And Joe said, I posted on my Facebook around 3 or 4 weeks ago asking if anyone had a wall or an idea of a space where we could create this. The Leaping Wolf got in touch and we got the ball rolling, and we ended up here painting it. So there's going to be a barbecue event at the fan zone opposite the mural on Friday evening to mark its completion. So a nice touch there. Let's move on then, Harry, to all things Premier League. It's obviously back this weekend. We are the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, but we're going to start with transfers or lack of, or where did you start? Let me just do a rundown of the players who've left. Obviously, Cunha went to Man United. Early June he went, so we thought, oh, hello, getting some bit of cash in early. Getting the business done early. Nope. So the £62.5 million release clause reached for him. 17 goals last season. Wolves Player of the Year. You said you were looking forward to him going. Didn't want much to do with him. Wash your hands of him. How do you feel about it now?
Yeah, I was still a bit gutted with the fee. I know it was intertwined into the contract that he threw his toys at the pram and made the club offer him in the January. I just hope he flops, to be honest. I'm a bit bitter. He went from my favourite player to someone I just was glad to see go despite his talent and despite scoring against West Brom and things like that. He was a huge part of why we stayed up. Hopefully John Adius can replace his goals because we need it, else we probably will be flirting with relegation. And best of bad luck to him. He's gone to a club I hate the most in the entire world, and he disrespected our club and fan base a lot last season. So to me, not arsed. Don't want to hear about him anymore.
What are your thoughts, Jack? Obviously, pre-season is a strange time, and you'll get more of a focus on games that obviously don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But he had a fairly impressive debut, I think, for Manchester United. But to be honest, I haven't really heard anything from any of their fans since.
No, I think the very early signs, we got whispers about Cunha and Aït-Nouri that they were very impressed with their first performances or their first few touches. But yeah, haven't heard necessarily too much since then. But it's pre-season, isn't it? Every team's sort of rotating, and you can never really judge it as to how things are going to translate into performances in the Premier League. Of course, I was gutted to see him go. You can't argue with the fact he was a game changer for us. He had that little bit of skill to be able to come on and do something magic and score a goal or change a game completely. But as Harry said, there was also some issues, particularly, his responses to things on social media. He lost his head a couple of times at key moments and ended up getting banned. So it was one of those where he was mentally already at Manchester United, I think, for a while, and it was just a case of getting it done. And that's probably the reason why it was done so quickly and so early in the transfer window. I think inevitably he'll probably come back and bite us and say, well, Aït-Nouri, but it's just one of the things and the way it usually goes, isn't it? But I think, as we said probably on the pod last season, that if he's struggling with some of the pressure coming from the Wolves fan base and reacting to that on social media, when he's got the Nigerian Man United fans calling him out all night after they don't perform against whoever it might be, Burnley, it's a whole different ball game, isn't it? So, but he's got what he wanted. He obviously wanted more money, and he's gone there. He's got more money. He's got the chance to go to one of the big name clubs, who they are still a big name. They're obviously not the footballing outfit they used to be, and their league position was very similar to ours last season, wasn't it? So it's one of those where, and I said this to my Man United friends, I think it's probably more likely to be a disaster than it is to go really, really well, because Man United's a bit of a poison chalice, isn't it? Like if he'd gone to somewhere like Arsenal City, I'd think, yeah, it's probably is going to work out really well. But with Man United, there's always a bit of doubt that it could go tits up quite quickly. So we'll see.
Bayliss, talking about Ait-Nouri, £31 million of it just seems like daylight robbery from Manchester City. I don't know who sanctioned that deal, but he's gone. But one thing to say that Cunha Ait-Nouri alone contributed 32 of last season's 54 goals and assists. And obviously he's going to have a pretty quick return to Molineux. He's going to be likely starting on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of pondered over this, and I'm just going to say it because I'll get myself in trouble with the second episode anyway. The Chinese that bought us were supposed to be like shrewd business people, and they were doing this as an investment. And that point of being incompetent, not getting the transfers in, doesn't really wash with me. So this clearly has to be intentional. They've put the money in, and now they want the money out, and they're not going to put it back in again, which is pretty fucking abhorrent when you think about it, without me going too far down the line and saying too much. And you can see it if you look at our position finishes from since we came up. It's been a pretty steady decline down, and this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. We've lost 3/4 of our goals. I think we've brought in one decent player in Aria, it looks like. The Wolf lad's quite a young lad, but quite a good prospect, and you just think we're lacking in so many places now that one injury or two injuries, we're really in a mess. And I don't know how much of the preseason games you guys managed to watch, but I watched a couple of them, and we didn't create a hell of a lot, did we? I mean, even against reasonably weak opposition, we didn't create a lot. So the sad truth of it might well be that this is absolutely intentional. And we'll wait and see. Let's see if the team comes out and can show a bit more and create a few more chances. But sadly, my initial impression of this is that folks do it on purpose. They want the money out, and it's not going to flow back in. And I know we've spent money, but it's not in line with what we've let go over the last couple of years.
Harry, bring you in there.
No, I agree that we can't keep selling our best players or two of our best players every season and keep trying to replace them. And it's going one way, like Bayliss alluded to. We're just going down, down, down in places, finishing 16th last year. If you look at the graph that's been floating around, we're going to be bottom 3 this year. And as it stands, and as we've, I know pre-season people say take it with a pinch of salt, but like Bayliss said, we haven't created any chances. We've looked poor at the back in some games. The intensity will be more in the Prem, but to get rid of Ait-Nouri, Cunha, which we knew they were going, really. Semedo was a bit of a blow. Obviously, Sarabia was a little bit of a blow for me as well. I agree. I think John Arias is probably the only good senior replacement. Fair Lopez, big potential. Muller-Wolf, young lad, still, we don't know. And I think we need another 3 or 4 at least to even be level to where we were last year, really. So, again, there was reports that Vítor said to Jeff and whatever, I want the players in early to have a good pre-season and give us the best start. We've got rid of all the dead wood, so they say. Players that pretty didn't want to be here. I know Fabio's still here and's got to go, and Kalajic, people like that, but Guedes is gone. And I was a bit surprised that Tommy Doyle and Boubacar Traore are going out on loan without bringing someone in. Because you lose João Gomez and Andre. We've got Manetti and Bellegarde as the only covers, really. That's very weak. And yeah, again, every summer it feels like we just get let down by the recruitment team, really. And the managers are always playing catch-up. They're always complaining in the media, like Vítor has, saying he wants more, wants 3. He said the other day, today, I think it was, he said he wants at least 2 or 3. And it's Groundhog Day. It's every summer. And we might get some deals in late. We've got till September, but he's got his hands tied in these first few games. Like, we're looking very weak. I know there's some other clubs in the same position who are struggling, but Sunderland are bloody making 1 million signings. Teams are doing it. And it's getting to the point where a majority of fans have had enough of Jeff Shee and Fosun. For me personally, I've had enough of Jeff Shee. I think he should have got replaced a few years ago. He's the problem. He admits himself. Everything lies with him. He makes the last decision on everything. And the decisions on the pitch the last 3 or 4 years have been absolutely horrendous. And I fear it may have caught up with us. But I'm hoping Vítor can somehow steer us away from safety. But he does need more help.
It's just the same circular picture. We're in the panic mode, haven't got enough players in. And then by Christmas, the manager goes. And then Fosun panic, spend 100 million quid, get a different manager in, we just about stay up, and then it repeats the cycle again. But this year, I don't think we're good enough to do it.
Jack, I want to bring you in there, giggling along.
I was just laughing at Harry's little Freudian slip where he said, "Hopefully, Vítor can guide us away from safety," which sounds about right for the way it's going.
Yeah,
but I think a couple of things from me, and I think the really disappointing thing, and the reason that everyone is so little patient, other than the performances, is the fact that, as I said earlier, we knew Cunha was going to Man United before the end of last season even finished. Aït-Nouri was also completed early in the season. We knew there was a big question mark over Semedo, and yet we still find ourselves in the position now where there's 3 days to the start of the season where we're playing key Jana Hoover at bloody right wing back, and that's just poor preparation. Because for me, you have to go through the whole squad, and you have to just always you have to be already developing these replacements even when the players are still there. It's not just a case of you can bring them in and then suddenly they've got to slot in and start, because even Arias, like, how long did it take João Gomes to acclimatise to the Premier League from Brazil? That's another thing we have to factor in. So we're putting too much pressure on him to come in straight away and replace Cunha. So the one thing I keep thinking, everyone keeps thinking, is that this can't be it. There has to be more. There has to be 3, probably 4 or 5, ideally, players come in, because we need strengthening up and down the pitch. But the longer it goes on, and the fact we've lost these weeks, these weeks that potentially for training, it's a shambles, really. And there should have been better planning. There should have been contingency planning, not even at the start of the summer, just at Christmas last year, where we started thinking about these players are going to move on, and it's just not happened.
Just going to go to the comment section. There's some that have tickled my fancy there. Neil says, sell the club to Roman Abramovich. I think that's a great shout. Cameron says, I hate to bang on about Fosun and Xiao, but Fosun and Xiao, they're the weak link. Andy DeWolf6 says, do Red Bull want to buy a football club? Max says, I worry even if we bring in 3 more late, we'll need 5-6 weeks to settle them, end at bottom, and be chasing tail. So just going through the rest of the transfers that have gone out. Obviously, Harry mentioned there, Sarabia has gone to Saudi Arabia. 77 appearances he made for Wolves, 8 goals, twice goal of the season. Craig Dawson obviously departed, bit of a sour taste in the end, being left out of the squad in January. 61 games at the club. Semedo going to Fenerbahce. I think he left it way too long. Have to make a decision. 5 years with Wolves though. After that shaky start, Bayliss obviously giving him what for every week in those early days. Tommy Doyle going to Birmingham City on loan. Giga going to Rangers on loan. Seems to be doing fairly well there. And then you've got a mixture of loans and permanents exiting the club of Chen Campbell, Chiquinho, Joe Hodge, Bastien Moypiu, Marvin Claytor, Guedes obviously as well, who's speaking quite favourably, I think, of his time here on the Wolves website, and then buggered off. And as Harry also mentioned, Borussia Dortmund look like they're going to walk away from a deal for Fabio Silva as well. Let's move on to the transfers. Actually, I want to know your thoughts on Fabio Silva first, Harry, and why it looked like there was a deal being done, and then it seems that Jeff Sheeb put the price up.
Well, for one, I'm actually in disbelief that the fees that are being thrown around. But like, obviously, Guedes went for a tiny fee, but I think they just did that to get rid of his wages because he was on big wages, like €6 million, wasn't it total? We paid 27 million for him when we signed him in 2022. But Fabio, I thought, €10 million, snap your hand off. Thank you. Bye-bye. Let's get the drama over with. But Wolves apparently want €25 million for him. And yeah, Dortmund offered 20 million. And Tete, it is apparently, the new sporting director, is allegedly playing hardball. He's saying, nope, we want €25 million plus add-ons to Dortmund this season. And they're walking away. And I think Roma are still interested, but I don't think they can come up with a fee either. And obviously Fabio's just sat there thinking, what the hell's going on? But I would snap your hand off for €20 million for him. But it's weird because I've just criticised him loads about the Aït-Nouri deal. So if Tete would have been around then to play hardball with City a bit more, I'd have been happy. But in this situation, weirdly, I'm a bit like, just take the €20 million. We don't want him rotting on the bench. He's double what I thought we'd get for him. I know he had a good loan spell at Las Palmas, but he's got 1 year left on his deal with an option for a further. Just take your money and run, man. He's never been a Wolves player. It's never worked out. Just let him go to Europe somewhere, and he'll probably do well. But it's just not worked out at Wolves. Let's get him gone.
Jack, what are you saying?
Like, if The problem for this is that probably in Jeff said he wants to recoup some of that 35 million that he originally spent and outlaid, and obviously the years of them paying him on high wages. But if we bought him for 2 million and someone offered them 10, he'd have been gone bloody years ago. They'd have thought that's an 8 million profit. That's brilliant. But now they're accumulating, wages potentially every year. I don't know how much of they were funding, when he was on loan or anything, but they're trying to recoup as much of that massive loss as possible. But that money's gone. It didn't work. Like it was an interesting theory, signing players because they've got good stats on Football Manager, and we paid 35 million for a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, and you just got to cut your losses and move on with it. Because I same as Harry, like I can't believe we're getting anywhere near 20 for him. We should be biting the hand off. We should be off. If someone offers 18 million, we should be saying we'll drive them there. Like it's crazy to even think that we're rejecting that, and then we can't play hardball with Ait Nouri. But I suppose the only difference there is maybe Ait Nouri obviously has been saying behind the scenes for a while he wanted to move, and they wanted to honour that to be good to him because he's been a good servant to us. But maybe they think there's lots of possible takers for Fabio Silva out there who would eventually sort of take him, particularly in Europe, or maybe Fabio's happy to wait and spend another year here on decent wages. Yeah. Well, yeah, with the names being thrown around, there are. I think many teams in Spain will want him, and the fact that the names being linked with him are Dortmund and Roma is more than I expected, to be honest. So,
I agree. It's like the Rafa Mir thing, isn't it? You think, absolutely no chance he's getting into the Wolves side, and then makes a move to Sevilla. Craig says, link with Lloyd Kelly today. I'd rather us just go and sign Chloe Kelly, as we know she's a good player, lol. To be fair, I'd rather have fucking Matthew Kelly, to be quite honest. Bayliss, what do you reckon on the Fabio Silva side of things?
I'll just get rid. It hasn't worked out, has it? And I don't understand why you play whole ball at 20 million, as Jack said. Surely this is a stick the money in the bank and write off the rest. The wages thing doesn't really count because they that's a capped expense that they stick to every year, so that's already been accounted for. So they just want to get him off the books. So it just doesn't make sense. Well, you know what'll happen. Strand Larsen will get injured. We won't have a striker in the entire team, and then we'll need it.
Beanpole.
But it's a question. Sorry, it's another question in itself, isn't it? Like, because there's so many players that we need to recruit in key positions. Like, I suppose that's the question. Like, how many transfers do we need, and in what positions? Because there's one or two that jump out straight away, isn't there? So, right back and wing-backs, some sort of centre forward or a number 10 role, whatever it might be. But there's more, isn't there? So
midfielder.
Yeah, we've let 2 midfielders go, so yes, we do. Then there's a few others as well, isn't there? Goalkeeper,
left centre back. What happens if Toti Gomez gets injured? Who's going to play left centre back?
So we need another centre.
Yeah. And are you happy with Doherty potentially playing the whole season and these sorts of things? There's lots of questions there, and the fact we've let players go. I personally was thinking that both Hwang and Sasa would move on, but at the moment they can't because we haven't.
Hwang's staying. Hwang's staying. Reportedly today, he's staying. He wants to fight for his place, which good attitude to have, but I don't know.
Let's have a look at the players that have come in so far. Strand Larsen is obviously one of them on a permanent deal. £23 million, signed a contract to 2029. Go to our Jurgen Strand Larsen Appreciation Society Director, Jack Williams. It's a no-brainer, wasn't it? I think there was an obligation to buy him anyway, given the appearances. But to get him tied down to a fairly long-term deal is good news, good business.
Yeah, so can't wait to see him go to Newcastle in January.
100%.
And that'll be 85% of our goals from last season would have been contributed by players that have then been sold.
Oh, things you love to see. Who else is in there? I've lost my notes. Fair Lopez. Harry, what do you think? What do you think on him? A right winger, £19.6 million. He had a release clause. 21-year-old has impressed in La Liga. You probably know a little bit more about him than most. So, what's your way of looking at things?
He looks good, but again, it's potential, isn't it? I think he's looked good in pre-season. He was probably our shining light, I thought, against Celta Vigo. Obviously, left-footed, 6 foot plus, which is quite rare, isn't it, for like a tricky inside forward. He is comparable, really, to Sarabia a little bit, like left-footed, not the quickest, quite technical, can whip a good ball in, but he's going to have to adapt. he didn't play too many senior appearances for Celta Vigo. He just broke in, really, towards the second half of last year, but he is good. But it's like Rodrigo Gomez. It's like, is he ready now? And even like you mentioned, John Arias, they've got a bed in, but I think they signed him as quick as they did as well early in the window. Because I think if it had gone into, I'm really bad in the calendar, June, July. We got him late June, didn't we? If we'd have gone into July, his release clause would have gone up by millions. So that's why Jeff was like, whoa. I don't want to pay too much. So we quickly got that one for 19.5 million because his release clause would have gone up to like 30 million, I think, in July, something weird like that. But yeah, happy with it. But I'm happy with him to come off the bench. And that for me, I personally don't think he's ready to be a starter, but he might surprise us and do really well. So we'll see.
John Arias joins from Fluminense. Pretty good during the Club World Cup. Bit of flair, versatility. Him and Agbadu have actually made it onto a list of 21 players to watch this season on the BBC. What were your first thoughts? Obviously, a debut goal for him in pre-season.
But yeah, very, very promising. So yeah, obviously took his goal very well. Just went through him like a knife through butter, didn't he? So I think there's definitely going to be potential there. But my concern again is the same thing that I said earlier: is that if we're putting this pressure on him to be the new Cunha, that it doesn't always work out that way. Particularly when you've been playing in Brazil and you've got heavy legs from your previous club. We'll see, but I think there's definitely potential there. The reassuring thing for me is, like, I've seen quite a few videos whereby they're interviewing fans of his own old club in Brazil, and they say that he's their favourite player and he's the player that they'd hate to see move to the Premier League the most. So he's come in highly rated. So I think there's that there, which is potentially a good sign. But like all of these, time will tell. We've had a couple of glimpses in pre-season, not so much on the game at the weekend, but it's early days, isn't it? So
we signed a wing back in David Moller-Wolf. He's the second time we've had a player with Wolf in their surname. The previous one was John de Wolf, who joined us from Feyenoord and was a fan's favourite in the 1990s. Interestingly enough, Jack Charlton never played for Charlton. Clark Carlisle never played for Carlisle. Alan Sunderland never played for Sunderland, and Danny Shittu never played for West Brom. Harry, what's your how are you seeing this Moller-Wolf fella? He looks like he's going to be thrown at the deep end, to be fair.
I'm seeing him with my eyes. No, he looks okay. He's got a wolf tattoo on his arm, so for me, he's sold me. And with a name like that, it can't go wrong. It can't go on like this, can it, Sass?
It can.
No, he only played 45 minutes, didn't he, against Celta Vigo, because he hadn't played football for ages. He had a whack on the head as well, didn't he? But you would assume he'll start against City, but Hugo Bueno's there as well. But I think he struggled a bit in pre-season, and the fact we've brought in Moller-Wolf doesn't bode well for Hugo Bueno for me, so he'll probably be back up. And obviously we've got Rodrigo Gomez who can play either side, but he looks a nice lad. Obviously he knows Strand Larsen very well from the international team. He put in a few good crosses, or the one cross I remember on his weak foot the weekend. But again, young lad, 23. Might take him a bit to adapt. So how many times we're going to say this? We're always buying young people, aren't we, with potential. But from what I've seen, he looks decent, but only time will tell.
What do you reckon, Dan? Do you think they'll hit the ground running, or do they need that bedding in time? And if they do, how long are the fans realistically going to give them? I mean, it won't be their fault. It's more going to be aimed at Jeff Sheep, but we know how quickly it can turn them.
Well, they haven't got much choice, have they? They've got to hit the ground running because of the position we're in. I mean, the way I see it is, I think we've actually brought in 3 pretty good signings, but we haven't shored up the team to make ourselves competitive with new signings in there. The defence have looked awful towards the back end of last year, and then they've gone through pre-season not looking very good at all. Totu, I know, did fairly well start and middle of last season. Didn't look great towards the end and hasn't looked good so far. You've got Agbadu, who's a monster, but then the rest of it, there's not a lot there. And I think if we're going to ship them and be at 6s and 7s at the back, and then we lose the players that create you chances, say we score 1 in 5 or 1 in 6, or that's pretty standard for a team of our quality. What we are creating has dropped down to maybe only 3 or 4 a game. Plus we're shipping a few at the back because the defence aren't shored up. Doesn't matter what these new lads do. I think the midfield actually looks pretty good. I think João Gomez, Andre, Aria playing in that 10 role all look pretty mustard. But You've got to have that quality on the wings to go and beat a man and create a chance. You've got to have more than one striker to score you a goal. You know, not everything's going to go through Strand Larsen. He's not going to be perfect every week. So I think as a middle core of a football team to pass the ball about, we aren't going to be terrible. But I think where it really matters, at the back and up top, I just can't see it. So I'm not going to put too much pressure on any of the three signings.
Yeah, we'll wait. You'll be back next week, absolutely hammering them, calling them a budget supermarket. We know it's going to happen. What I'm going to do is we've got people waiting in the wings, and I'm going to pass over to Harry. He's got some information around a charity game that is taking place, and we've got some of those players. Some would call them ringers, but they're going to technically be part of this podcast and therefore no longer ringers. Harry, I'll pass over to you.
Yeah, well, should we do the City preview after this little section then?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, it's been the third year now, 7-a-side. We were struggling for numbers big time. So I put a message out. You may have heard it. I put it on the podcast stream, put it on our YouTube channel, asking if listeners want to play. So we've actually got a team to play. And yes, we're going to get a few of them on. I think we've got 2 videos, Sam, or 1 video from Miles.
One video.
He's got a great story, which we'll play in a minute. He was paralysed. You'll hear his story, and now he can play again. So great for him to play in this. And then we've got people waiting in the wings to come on live. But all for the Wolves Foundation. Dazzling Dave sorts it every year. I believe there's 12 teams this year. 6th of September at the Compton Dome. You can come and watch it, I think, for a £5. It goes to the Wolves Foundation up on the balcony. And hopefully we go one further this year and win it, because we got to the final loss on penalties last year. So bring them in, the people who are going to get us to win it, Sam.
Right. Should we do it one by one so the screen isn't full? Dorian, I'm going to bring you in first. This is Dorian, who is named after the car in Back to the Future. Great to have you here, Dorian.
Nice.
Now, you sorted out the kit for us.
So I've had, Dan will know this, I've had biked especially for tonight, the actual launching of the kit.
Oh,
so maybe I should have asked someone if I could actually do this live, but it arrived on a bike this afternoon. So I do have the official shirt. It is chocolate brown.
Chocolate brown. Look at that. Oh,
what a colour.
Beauty. It's a beauty.
Wow.
That's obviously at the front, and then obviously on the back.
Lovely.
So
it's actually brilliant.
Yeah,
that is fantastic.
So we've got extra. We bought some extra large sizes because when I saw the small size for the goalkeeper, it's not going to fit. It won't even fit my grandchildren. To be fair, it's going to be snug. To be fair,
I don't know what's more shocking, really, the fact that we've had to have a brown kit, or that Harry thinks he's going to fit a large. I don't know what more shocking out of that.
Triple XL.
I've actually added a few extra sizes in there, so we're okay. We'll get you in.
We do appreciate that. Dorian, can you remember the first ever Wolves game that you went to?
I can. It was 1980 against Liverpool. Wow. John Richards scored a 71st minute winner.
Blimey. Wow. And you've been hooked ever since.
Ever since, yeah, for my sins. So I've been suffering way longer than probably all of you put together.
the glory days of Nuno seem miles and miles away.
A long way away now. Yeah, very.
And
much
have you got any training tips for us ahead of this charity match? How are you keeping in shape in the run?
I was quite impressed that somebody got injured at 7:30 this morning whilst training for this event. That was quite funny.
First pull out.
down to 15. I'm a keen paddle tennis player, so most of mine's paddle tennis. At my age, it's good for the joints.
Is it knacker? I've never played it. Is it as knackering as it looks? It looks like slow squash. Is that right?
It's the future.
You reckon?
That's all I can say.
Do we have an open invitation? Is
of course
going to be a paddle tournament?
100%. The Wolves 77 Club paddle tournament.
I love the sound of that.
On a court that Dan will build.
Excellent. Right. So we've got it for a good 5 minutes.
Definitely do that.
Right. Okay. But before you go, who's your dark horse player for this season, and what is your prediction for the City game?
I mean, I was there on Saturday. I think it's really difficult it was a difficult watch, but it was difficult to kind of put anything together. I thought Andre and Gomez played well. I thought it was, but I kind of lacked forward momentum. So I'm a bit worried about, getting the ball forward. We seem to pass it around a bit. Arias looks unplayed, doesn't he? To be fair, I think that's probably, if we can get him bedded in quickly, I think he's going to score some goals.
Perfect. And your City prediction?
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
It says it all.
The first game I took my my lad to, we beat City. So yeah, we're off on Saturday. So let's hope we can repeat the same. But
perfect.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough watch.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for sorting out the kit. We appreciate it.
One thing I'm sorry to oversay, but there is space on the shirt for a sponsor.
Oh.
So if anybody, we've got a couple of weeks. If anybody wanted to sort of offer some money to put their logo on that kit, I'm more than happy to do that.
Brilliant. Yeah, just get in touch with us on the socials. Harry read them out at the beginning, and it would be much appreciated if that's possible. All going, of course, to the Wolves Foundation. Dorian, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to kick you out now. It's nothing personal. And either he's frozen or I have. I'm not sure, but I'm going to remove him anyway. Harry, I'm going to bring in Jay next, so if you can just introduce Jay.
Yeah, Jay actually went to our draw night on behalf of us, so spot on for that, Jay. How was it?
Yeah, not too bad. So draw happened 29th of July. Obviously representing the 1877. Yeah, really good. Dazzling Dave sorted out all the refreshments. Obviously draw took place. Picked out the colour brown. City, I remember City had the colour brown last season, didn't they?
That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time. Obviously, met all the other creators as well, which was really nice. So yeah, very nice time.
Jay, what was it like meeting Dazzling Dave? Were your hands shaking? Were you very excited about it?
It was all right. It was handshaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the same guy. And yeah, I follow a lot of the creators stuff. So yeah, good time.
Yeah, he looks different in real life, doesn't he? Jay, I reckon you're going to say a slightly later date for your first Wolves game, unless you've got an incredible skincare routine. Probably going to be a little bit later than Dorian's 1980. But do you remember your first Wolves match?
Yeah, so mine was actually, I can't remember the year, but it was one of the most iconic Premier League goals that I remember. So it was, do you remember Johan Elmander? When he did that turn at Molineux?
Oh, but for Bolton,
Bolton, and then he put it inside netting. That was my first game.
Oh, man,
2012?
Yeah, 10, 11 maybe.
Yeah, that was my first game.
And with the charity match, what's your favourite position, and are you any good? Because I'm going to be very angry at Harry if he's brought someone in that's favourite game is paddle or something like that.
Yeah, so I play twice a week. I play Mondays.
Amazing.
Yeah, good. Well done.
Mondays and Thursdays.
You're up front, Jay. Jay, you're up front.
Where do you play,
Jay?
I'd
say I'm a creative player.
Lovely.
Which club do you play for?
It's just with some mates. I used to play for a club down in Willenhall. But yeah, I'm quite a creative player.
Excellent.
So
we want your prediction against City, but first of all, I want your dark horse for the season.
I think Fer Lopez is going to surprise a lot of people this season. Nobody's raw. Obviously, I went to all 3 of the 4 pre-season games. He stood out in all of them for me, provided that attacking impetus that we've needed. I think he's perfect for that inside right channel, cutting on his left foot. And I think he's got the football intelligence as well to play that position, which I think we've struggled with players like Hwang, who don't suit that position. So yeah. In terms of prediction, I'm actually optimistic. I think a draw is quite possible, but it's important for us not to concede early. There's obviously that dilemma of him playing 3 in the middle of the park, but obviously with Rodri being out, I would go with the two 10s and try and attack him. on the counter.
Good man, good man. Well, look, thank you for going for the draw for us. Thank you for being part of the team. We look forward to meeting you in person when it comes around to the charity game. Again, I'm going to be rude. I'm going to kick out the stream now. Thank you for being a producer on the Wolf 77 Club. It's obviously a lifetime contract. It's unpaid, unfortunately. It's the world's longest internship. So, Jay, thank you so much.
Jay.
Harry, I'm
Thanks,
going to bring
Jay.
in Sam next.
Lovely, Sam. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks. Yeah.
Very good. Sam, predictions?
I don't know if we want to go into the season at the moment, do we really?
Hasn't started yet.
Yeah. I don't want to sound pessimistic, but 17th we'll do this year with the way we are. I'm really, really worrying. But at the end of the day, we've had a poor pre-season this year. We had a good one last year and started terrible. Hopefully the roles reverse.
That's true. I mean, it's not a marker for success, is it? But I mean, was it 6 pre-season games, 4 losses? Isn't the best
and we
run in
didn't
the
look
world.
very good through the games, did we?
No, not at all. Well, I've asked everybody so far. Do you remember your first Wolves game, Sam?
I know what my first Wolves game was, which was, here's 2 for you, Wolves fan. We won 3-0 against Blues. Was the first game I ever went to. The first game I can ever remember was the season we were 15 points clear. And
Oh my God!
didn't get
No,
promoted.
no.
And
Kick
it was
him out.
Sheffield
Get him
Wednesday,
out.
the last game.
2001, 2002 season.
0102, yeah.
Yeah, Nathan Blake scored in injury time, but it was offside. We were going mental, and then realised we didn't get promoted, and the baggies. Yeah,
Dean
So,
Sturridge
yeah,
was mustard that year, wasn't he? Dean Sturridge was the killer that then. Yeah.
I was very. But
All right, and how useful are you on the football pitch, Sam?
all right, centre midfielder. I wouldn't go anything about training tips with me because I've got a bit of timber recently, but I'm sure we can run that off before we play.
And are you training in the build-up to this? Are you going on those morning runs? Although it seems to be sort of stealing our team away from us so far. Someone buggered up their leg this morning.
Yeah, definitely. I saw that this morning and thought I'll leave the running for now.
It's bad for your health.
Exactly.
Let's have a look at a dark horse for this season, Sam, and then I want your City prediction.
I think we're almost forced into having someone like Keanu Hoover being a dark horse at the moment. Someone along those lines, or Rodrigo Gomez being forced into playing. Hopefully we do sign a right back, although you can't knock the 2 lads over there at the same time.
What are your thoughts on Gesture?
I think we're going to see quite a lot of Keanu Hoover, which we didn't expect.
Well, no, I know. Well, he can do it on a rainy night in Stoke, it seems, if he's been there long enough.
If you can do it there, you can do it anywhere.
Give us a score prediction for City.
I'll go 1-1.
1-1. Quite optimistic so far.
Cagey first game.
The people coming on are way too positive for this podcast. We're so negative. The 2 lads we've had on have been like, yeah, we'll do it. Don't worry. We'll draw. Both draws. We're like, yeah, 6-0 City.
They're just excited by the lifetime.
Start the year positive.
That's it, exactly. Well, look, we look forward to meeting you in person. Obviously, you've got the role for life and the lifetime internship. I'm going to kick you out now, and I'm going to let Jack introduce the next person. Jack, over to you.
Well, I'm hoping that this is going to be my nephew, George. There he is. So those of you who know me will know that I'm an absolutely terrible footballer. I will undoubtedly be the worst footballer on our team at the charity game. I've never been able to do it. I've always been useless. But my nephew, George, here is supposedly half decent. So he's got to put his money where his mouth is. He's going to come along and run about for us when we're all knackered because he's got youth on his side.
I hope so.
I know that your mum will be listening to this, George, and I just wanted to know what your favourite swear word was. You don't know. He's looking at it. Don't do it. It was a joke, Mum. It was a joke. Are you looking forward to it, George? I mean, how good are you? Because Jack's been singing your praises.
Has he? I'm all right. I'm better than Jack.
No, that's no marker. That's no marker.
Narrowed it down by a few billion people.
You got player of the season in your team, didn't you? What was it?
Like
there you go. Pick yourself up more. That's more than I've ever got. I didn't even get a medal for taking part.
They were like, we can't realistically give it to him. George, you're obviously a tiny bit younger than we are, but do you remember your first Wolves game? Do you remember catching the bug and the reason why you put yourself through it every week watching the Wolves?
I do remember it, and it was 3-0 versus Liverpool, I think.
That's a good start. Actually, I remember that because it was your first game, because I was like, you can come every week.
I don't think it was, because I think, Sam, that we took him to a friendly years ago when we played a Spanish team in pre-season. Do you not remember that? Ooh. Yeah, and we bought him a half and half scarf. This is years ago.
I do not remember.
Really?
Yeah, but you weren't very old then, but that definitely was your first game. But yeah, your first proper game would have been what you said.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do you play, George, on the pitch? Where are you most useful?
I usually play centre mid, actually, for my team.
We've got a lot of centre mids. We'll pack up the midfield in 7-a-side.
We've got a team of centre midfielders here. Is that
where you play up front, George?
I can play. I can shoot. Yeah, I can.
There we go. That'll do.
That would help. Yeah.
Are you sure you're related to Jack? When we look at the players coming in this season, who's the one that stands out for you? We've been asking for people's dark horses.
I think Arias will do quite good, to be fair. He's done well in pre-season compared to everyone else. So, yeah.
And what's your thoughts on the City game? I mean, I know that Harry said that we're usually quite negative about these things, but everyone's been quite positive so far. How are you feeling about it? I know we should be excited. It's the first game of the season.
I think we'll lose 5-0, to be honest.
Excellent. Right. Okay.
Yeah, good.
That's what I hear.
That's my boy. Oh, excellent. Right. And are you looking forward to the charity game? Have you played in anything like this before?
No, I've never done anything like this before. I am looking forward to it. I have to see Jack again, and I have to see him for ages. It was
all right.
Just been on holiday together. It's too much. Perfect. Well, George, thank you so much for coming on. We're looking forward to see it, and I'll give you 20 quid if you megs your own uncle on the pitch. All right.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Oh, of course, yeah. Absolutely.
No, because then he'll try and do it, and it will distract from that. Don't play those games with him.
The best £20 I've ever spent. George, thank you so much. We will catch you in September.
Cheers,
George.
Cheers, mate.
Right, okay. Remember, we'll put links to everything for the charity game. If you do want to come along, £5. Oh yeah, we do have a video to play from Miles.
Great story.
Bit of a marathon here, but we're going to try this out. Here we go.
Oh yeah, hi guys. My name's Miles. Harry just sent me some stuff about sending a video just for their Wolves Content Creators Cup. So first of all, predictions for the season. It's hard to say right now because obviously the window hasn't closed and performances in pre-season haven't been very enlightening. Still on the fence, kind of what to expect. But I reckon we should finish about 14th, 15th. I reckon we'll probably dip into the January market and panic again. But we should be safe. But I might have jinxed it now. But a bit of reason why kind of I wanted to play and how it feels to play in the tournament. So I have like a neurological condition, and I was paralysed and I lost my speech 2 years ago, so I've had to regain that and like functioning, and now luckily I'm able to play football at a low level, I guess, and do my coaching badges, it's a proud moment for me to partake in the tournament. Obviously the Wolves Foundation does good stuff in the communities as well, and like health projects that help people like me as well, I guess. So I'm really looking forward to the tournament and try and help the team and see what we can do, I guess. Nice one, guys. I'm a big fan of the podcast and I listen to most of them. And Bayless talking about Semedo over the last couple of seasons, and now he's moving off to Turkey and we've got to find his replacement. So nice one, guys. I'll see you on the 6th of September. Cheers.
A fantastic story there, and what a comeback! You know, being paralysed, unable to speak, and then playing.
Amazing.
I mean, he called it a low level of football, and I'm not sure I agree with that. It's incredibly high standard that we will be playing. But we're grateful for Miles for sending the video and obviously playing as well. Harry, I'll give you a final word on that and a final plea for donations.
Yeah, I mean, when I put out the message for listeners to play, someone like Miles to get back's great, isn't it? You know what I mean? Bit of a different, and I mean, people who donate to the foundation actually help people like Miles. So it's brilliant that he's going to be there to play, and I'm sure it'll mean a lot to him. So cheers for sending that video. And yeah, the links, I'll put a link in the description actually to this podcast for the foundation page. Obviously, Dazzling Dave does it every year, and yeah, it's a really good cause, and hopefully we can go one better. But thanks everyone for coming on. That went a bit smoother than I thought it was going to. I thought
You're with a professional, Harry. Don't you worry about
it.
Well
done, Sam. You know what? You actually know what you're doing, don't you, Sam? I've just realised 7 years into the podcast, you actually know what you're doing. So there we go.
Also remember, Harry, if people want to donate some money and get their company's name or their name on the shirt, then get in touch with us over any of the social channels.
Yeah, great shout. And obviously, thank you again for Dorian to sort them out. I'm a bit gutted we're in chocolate, but it could become an iconic top. Let's get back to all things Premier League, though. We're going to do our pre-season predictions. I think from memory, Bayliss and me did the best last season. Bayliss said it was going to be the most goals that we conceded in a season since we got promoted under Nuno. And I said Gary O'Neill would not see Christmas. Those are both unpopular opinions or something along those lines. So, Harry, I'll start with you. We'll go around in circles. The first prediction is the league finish. Where will Wolves finish the season?
Well, I'm going to go against the grain and say we're going to finish higher than last season, because I'm going to have to be positive and say we're going to sort it out and get the players in we need. I'm going to say 15th.
15th. Harry, who's going to win the league?
Man City.
And who's going to get relegated?
Leeds, Burnley, and Brentford.
Oh, Brentford. That's a shout. You losing Thomas Frank could happen.
I think Sunderland
signed a lot of players. Will they be any good? We don't know. Jack, I'll come to you now. First league finish for Wolves.
It's very difficult, isn't it? Because especially when we don't properly know our squad until a month into the season and how things can change. But you kind of have to judge it based on where we are now. And I know other teams have struggled as well. I know Brentford fans aren't happy. I know the three teams that came up, bar Sunderland, you think could be weaker than us unless those signings do somehow turn out, but it doesn't always work like that. We've seen with Forest before. So at the moment, even optimistically, my optimistic is 17th. Because who are we going to finish above apart from assuming there's a chance that one of the promoted teams could do well? We've got to then drag a more established team into it. So based on where we are now, I think 17th, and based on the trajectory of how it's been since we came up, 17th is looking like if we don't finish 17th, we'll go down. But
who's going to win the league? Who's going to get relegated?
Who's going to win the league? Liverpool. Who's going to go down? I was going to say Brentford as well, but I'll go Brentford, Sunderland, and Burnley.
Brentford, Sunderland, and Burnley. Bayliss, where are Wolves going to finish in the league, and who are your league champions, and who's going to get relegated?
I've been toying with this for like the last day or so. I think we will finish 16th.
Ooh, dizzy.
It's optimistic.
And that's very optimistic. And I don't think all three promoted sides will go down. I hope one of them that does is Leeds. And then I think Brentford are on the slippery slope. I don't think Forest are going to do that well this year. I think they're going to be bottom half. Maybe not in a relegation scrap, but they're going to be down there. I think there's going to be 6 or 7 sides all within 6 points of going down by the end of the season.
I think it will. I think you're right. I think it probably will be close. Harry, let's have a look at the FA Cup. How far will Wolves go in the FA Cup?
Quarter-final.
Oh, quarter-final. Jack?
We've had a couple of seasons now. The one where we bottled it against Coventry. The next one where we bottled it against Bournemouth. So we're due a third round exit. Where it usually goes.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
Bayliss?
4th round.
fourth round. I just realised I didn't do my predictions there. So I think we will finish. I think 17th is realistic. Liverpool will be champions, and I think the 3 promoted sides will probably go down. FA Cup. Oh, I can feel a semi coming on, Harry. I'm going to go for a semi-final. Let's have a look at the other domestic cup. It's the League Cup.
Well, we've just drew West Ham in the second round tonight at home, I believe. So I think we're going to go out in the second round to West Ham.
Excellent. Okay. Jack, are we going to get past West Ham?
I thought the first couple of rounds of this were seeded. Like, how is that possible to draw West Ham?
I don't know.
Didn't used to be a thing. Like, well, yeah, round 2 then, whatever.
Bayliss.
Yeah, same.
Oh.
I think we'll get to the 4th round of the League Cup. Harry, we've had lots of dark horses tonight off the ringers for the charity game. Who is yours?
I'm going to go for the exact same one as I went for last season. Bellegarde. I think he's going to sneak in again at some point. Towards the end of last season, obviously had that good run when we won 6 in a row, taking over Cunha. He's probably might have to fill in a midfield at one point. And I thought he actually got quite sharp against RC Lon on that Wednesday night game at Walsall first half. So I'll stick with my dark horse that got me some brownie points last year and go with Bellegarde.
Good shout. Jack?
I find it very hard to pick a player that's already here as a dark horse because, you know, you'd have to say something like, oh, I think Hwang's going to come back into form and be the player he was when he first joined. And I just can't see it really. So then you start looking at the players that have joined or the players that are in. So, I mean, you've seen bright sparks from Fair Lopez, haven't you? So I'll go with that. But obviously very young, a lot of pressure. But he might be having to start a lot for the first few weeks of the season. So we'll see.
Bayliss, dark horse.
I think Rodrigo Gomez is going to come into his own this year. He's going to have no choice. He's got to step up. And I think he'll end with the most assists.
My dark horse will be Saša Kalajic. I think he's going to break into double figures of goals.
What, he's going to break both his legs?
Break 11.
Damn. We've got to hope. He stays first. But if he does stay, I agree. I think he might be a dark horse if he stays.
That's
absolutely. He just Twiglet. Absolute waste of time.
He's like Marcel. Who's the left back? Twiglet legs. Harry, give us your unpopular opinion.
My unpopular opinion is, I think one of the people who we had on just alluded to it. I think Hoover's going to come good. Oh. Yeah, he played well against Stoke in pre-season, but then he's been shocking. He was so bad against Celta Vigo, and he probably isn't good enough. But I reckon he might be all right. Honestly, I just got a feeling that he's going to be cover. He's going to stick around, and I feel like we might get a new right back in, but I feel like he'll do a good job covering at right centre back and right wing back. Could be talking out my ass, but it's an unpopular opinion, so I'll go for that.
It's unpopular with me. Yeah, I just don't see it really. It's like I was good against Stoke, and then against a bottom half French team and two bottom half Spanish teams, he's been rubbish, and we think he's going to go in and have a blinder against Man City. Like
last year, I predicted that Strand Larsen would get less than 5 goals, so I ain't got a clue what I'm going on about. So
I was going to use that for my unpopular opinion. I was going to say it could quite easily switch, couldn't it? So I'm going to say that Strand Larsen, although I'm his biggest fan and I hope it's wrong, particularly with the service that he won't be getting, I think he will have a season where he doesn't hit the heavy heights, but I won't say less than 5. I think that's silly. I'll say less than 8 or under.
Oh, 8 or under. I like that. Bayliss, you usually have lots of them through the season. What's the first one of the new season?
My unpopular opinion is that regardless of what I've said for the last 12 months, without Fosun, we'd be in League One getting shit on by Deadpool and his mate that no one knows. So, like,
push through the Championship.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. I don't want to age it too much. I mean, there's been a couple of comments in the comment section with people saying that Vítor may leave. May do a Lopetegui before the beginning of the season. I don't think that's quite going to happen, but I think I'm going to do the same one from last season. I think he's going to walk before Christmas. That would be my unpopular opinion.
It's not an unpopular opinion. It's a prediction.
It is.
it's an opinion that's unpopular.
We don't want it to happen. They're all sort of things we don't want to happen, aren't they? So
my prediction is that Jeff Shee will get ousted by the fans by January.
The worry is it's going to turn toxic very quickly, and when there's the risk of it boiling over already, what you don't want to do is open your season by getting battered against Man City, and it's shaping up like it could be a real possibility. So all this respect Vítor has built up for the end of last season. I really hope that it doesn't get put on him, because it's not his fault, in my opinion. So we need to be patient, I think, particularly with the new players and with the manager, and direct the hate where it should be, which is upstairs.
You got to be careful, though, because if you post a meme and say anything nasty, Keir Starmer will put you in jail.
Can we stay out?
Politics. Move on down. Man City predicted. Top goal scorers, assists, then Man City.
My unpopular opinion is the last 14 years before him were brilliant. Right, okay, let's move on to Manchester City preview. It looks like they may well be without...
Stop. We haven't done top goal scorer and top assists.
Oh, I've missed those off my list. Harry, who's your top goal scorer for this season?
I'll do it quick. I'm going to go unpopular. I'm going to say John Arias will be top goal scorer and not Strand Larsen. Top assists, I was going to say Muller Wolf, but I'm going to go for João Gomez for top assists.
Jack?
It's so difficult, isn't it? I just don't know. I think if anyone says anything...
That's the whole idea of this. Why I'm fucking doing it?
No, it's so because we don't have any choice. If anyone says that Strand Larsen won't be top goal scorer, who could it be?
John Arias?
Maybe. So I'll go Strand Larsen and then Arias for the assists. Good. That's all you can say, really.
Bayless.
Yeah, well, you can only say Strand Larsen. Rodrigo Gomez for the assists.
Ronald McDonald, I think you almost said that.
Dazzling Dave, most assists.
It's Strand Larsen. I think it's probably going to be João Gomez for the assists. Harry, am I good to move on to Manchester City preview?
It's your honour, yeah.
Thank you so much. Right, okay. It looks like Manchester City may be without Rodrigo's dealing with a groin injury sustained during the Club World Cup. Phil Foden is a doubt, and Kovacic could also miss out as well. A couple of their summer signings may make their bows. They are Tijani Reinders and Ryan Cherky. Erling Haaland should lead the line. He played both halves last time out against Palermo. Ederson looks likely to begin the season as City's #1 goalkeeper ahead of James Trafford. Although they could be signing Donnarumma. Donnarumma, I saw today, but I don't think that's going to be completed in time if that does go through. Harry, what is the starting 11 going to look like? There's going to be wholesale changes compared to the side that drew with Brentford in the season finale.
I think you've got to go off what we know. He's going to play the exact same team that started against Celta Vigo, which scares the life out of me. Me personally, I'd play Doherty right wing back and Mosquera right centre back and sit in and hang on for dear life. I'd also start Manetzi over Fer Lopez, which is probably controversial, but I just trust Manetzi more. And I know people hate him, but he runs until his kneecaps fall off. And when they're passing it around the back, he'll run. We've got to hope they don't score, and we've got to pray one comes off Menetzi's ass, goes in the top corner, and we hang on for a 1-0. But Vítor concentrates on himself, as he always says. So we're going to play the same team against Celta Vigo. And without trying to be too negative, I am scared that we're going to have a Chelsea game on our hands again, the 6-2 from last season. I've got a feeling something like that might happen, because Hoover was so far away from Doherty at times in that Celta Vigo friendly. You could have probably landed a big blue whale out the sea in between them at times. So there's going to be so much gap for them to exploit. It scares the life out of me.
Let me just remind you of what the lineup was for that game. Sarr in goal, Hoover, Doherty, Agbadou, Totti, Wolf, Andre, Gomez, Lopez, Arias, Strand, Larsen. Jack, do you see any changes from that side that suffered defeat against Celta Vigo?
It usually goes with the Saturday before your first league game, you start the team that's going to start next week. So that's why everyone thinks it's going to be that. I don't know if Wolf, because he went off at half-time, didn't he? Because he took a knock. So was it just fitness? I thought, because he had an impact injury.
Yeah, he said in an interview after. He said in an interview after that it was always planned to go off at half time, but yeah, he did take a knock to the head, but he's fine to play next week.
So yeah, that bodes well. So yeah, I think it will be the same team, and I just don't know where Keanu Hoover's come from. I don't know how he's got back into the equation at all, really, ahead of some of the other players who could play there. So
Liverpool, wasn't it? We started from.
Well, no, I just don't know how, because I thought his days at Wolves were done after he fell out with Bruno Lage and the fans, and I kind of forgot he was still on the books, to be honest. And now he's coming back and starting against Man City, and it's just such bad planning. And how we've lost Semedo, I'm gutted about it, to be honest. So I know the people we got on were all like fairly optimistic. Some of them saying we were going to draw, but I just don't know how you can have this run you've had in pre-seasons against teams that are, they are top tier teams in Spain and France. But they ain't Man City, man. It's a different level, and we were losing to the teams a level below. So I think 4-0 City.
Wow. Stu says Hoover
exactly
sucks. I'll get my codes. 4-0 Bayliss.
Yeah.
Interesting. And keep thinking Celta Vigo. That team is going to say the same. I think I'm looking at Mascara. I think I really would like to see him in defence, and I'd probably play Doherty right wing back. We know he can play there.
We could start 15 players on the pitch and we still lose this game.
Very true. Bayliss does have some betting odds for us.
Yeah, first week of the season, so there's loads about whatever betting app you're on, because it's Man City. There'll be tons of those, request a bet type things. Some real heady ones. Haaland and Strand Larsen to have 2 or more shots each on target and to be fouled 2 or more times, 125-1.
That is a Norwegian special.
It is. Haaland, Aria, and Rodri to be fouled more than 10 times between them, 100-1. And then I've done a couple of scorecasts, which for all the optimists that we had on earlier, madness. Aria first goal, 1-1 is 60-1. And the one that is definitely happening, 8 Nori first goal, 4-0 Man City, 146-1.
Long.
It's not even that good, is it?
None of that good, to be honest. I also put in a 4-1 for Harry, 4-1 Wolves, Strand Larsen first goal, 375-1, which is like
what?
Terrible.
4-1 Wolves.
Yeah.
Who was that with? Name and shame them. That's outrageous.
The Irish ones.
It's Paddy Power. Usually the odds in this sort of game are so bad that they don't even offer 4-1 Wolves as an option, because it's like so unlikely.
That has happened before. Jack, the one that I sort of picked up on and that you put in the group is this may well be the first season that you back Wolves to go down as an insurance policy.
Well, when I said that, I think you were still getting about 130 to 7-2 about us going down, and there's a bit of value there, really. I know they're still banking on the 3 teams that came up not being up to scratch, because it's happened in the last 2 years. It's never happened 3 years in a row, I don't think. So that'll be the first if that happens. But there's a lot of risk there, and if ever we kind of a little bit different. I think apart from Man City, we do have some games coming up where we can pick up points quite early on.
Everton.
And the squad isn't ready. The squad isn't ready for those games. So really, you'd rather be playing the big teams early on while you can sort yourself out and just treat Saturday as another pre-season run out and get some more signings in. But that's why I'm worried about it turning sour very quickly. So I still might do it. I'll have a think about it, but maybe putting a few quid on that would just be a bit of insurance towards potentially a championship season ticket next year if it does come in. So
it'll probably pay for it, certainly. Excellent. Well, look, it's good to be back. We look forward to seeing you at a late kickoff on Saturday. Remember, follow us and subscribe here. Make sure you donate to the charity match and everything going to the Wolves Foundation. It is, of course, a great cause, and we will say goodbye to Harry Manson.
Hopefully we get a penalty this season, because we didn't get one last season.
That would be nice. Jack Williams.
Goodbye. See you soon. Thanks for listening. Hope you had a nice summer. Send us a postcard. See you in the Prem. And ta-ra.
It's a goodbye for Dan Bayliss.
Yeah, can't follow that. Goodbye.
And it's a goodbye from me. Goodbye.